Hey guys, I'm just about 5 minutes from finishing up my shift for my software job. It's going pretty cool. It's weird how much life can change and how things come together. It's also really fragile too. I mean, you could totally destroy everything you built with one small mistake. So it can be humbling to think about sometimes. And it's interesting for me now approaching the end of the year and with definite plans for a big change in lifestyle. It's been quite a journey building this school up, and sometimes I'm kind of surprised I actually did it. The idea of starting a business by yourself and investing money into it, and brick and mortar coming into the first day when you don't have any students, and just having the determination to just keep doing it until it's successful has been quite the experience. And now I don't know, I think this happens a lot this time of year where the summer is such an intense energy, and it's going up and up and up, and you enter into the fall, and there's this kind of emptiness that happens, and it's very easy to feel a sense of closing, and that always makes me kind of want to reflect on things and look back, and sometimes that can be good, to reflect, but you don't want to look back too much. As my mom used to say, that feeling, she would often feel like she was looking back on her life as she was going down the road, and was never really looking forward. Which is, I think it's very common of people who have a kind of naturally introspective character, and I really do. I think that's part of the reason I kind of just was like, okay, I'll go to Japan, because I I didn't really think about the direction of my life long term. I was just kind of thinking about maintaining something similar enough to my current situation that it would be convincing to think of it as comfortable, honestly, now I don't know if I would decide to go to Japan again if I was given somehow given the opportunity to return to being. How old was I? I was 24 when I made the decision, so 14, almost 15 years ago. Um, but I think there's a lot of things like that in our lives. If you look back, you're like, would you do it again? Sometimes it's yes, sometimes it's no, sometimes it's I don't know. Um, yeah, but I do feel that these next few steps, um, are probably for the best, financially, professionally, potentially socially. Um, I want to go back to a way of life where things are manageable. I've been so incredibly busy these past 6+ years. It's been a lot. My children were just babies when I started. My oldest son was 3. He was no taller than this desk I'm sitting at, and my middle boy he was only 1, just barely turned 1. My daughter was on the way, actually, and they're all older now. So I missed a lot. I think when I look back. Well, luckily, I got to see them every night and stuff, but having your own business it's a massive cognitive drain. You're always thinking about it. It's like this big elephant sitting on your head all the time, and it's very difficult to separate life and work in a clear way. And on top of that, I also have like 3 part-time jobs, so it's quite the juggling act, and time passes like crazy, and you never really feel like should I be resting now? Should I be working now? I mean, you do. You begin to cultivate that ability to compartmentalize and kind of not think about certain issues. Like let's say something happens on Friday here at the school. Like, oh, okay, I've got to order these textbooks and call this parent and make the calendar for next year. So, okay, do it on Tuesday, and then just Saturday, Sunday, Monday, don't even think about it. Stuff like that. That does come, but I don't know, there's a deeper kind of sense of responsibility that is always just kind of there, and it pulls at you. Uh, so I'm looking forward to that not being there. I want to go back to just enjoying life and having real days off and not being solely responsible for absolutely everything. That'll be good. So in the interim, I've had this letter translated. I haven't read it yet, actually, but I trust her. She's an English nerd, so um, I'm sure she did a good job. So my goal is to pass that out on starting December 1st, which is just shy of a week, 10 days away. So a week from next Tuesday. We give out these guys tuition envelopes. This is a fat one. It's got 2 kids and then 4 private lessons. 5 private lessons on top of that. So just put the letter in with that and the calendar for next year. I'm still not sure if I should just do up until March or the whole year. I think until March would be best. That would allow the new teacher, either the new teacher to create the calendar for the rest of the year, or for the school to just close in March, whatever the case may be. So pass that out. Make sure they know that, hey, there's a big news. Please read the letter, and then that'll give me December, January, February to find somebody, and then March to train them. Although I think March. What did I do this year for March? Okay, I taught the first 3 weeks of March, so I suppose I could teach the first 3 weeks of next year as well. Let's see, what does March look like next year? Didn't cut off good. The issue, I think, is just going to be finding the right person and handing it over. I'm not really concerned about making money, at least not that much. It would be nice to make some, $5,000-$6,000 would be good. Just put it in the bank. Yeah, it looks like I could, almost exactly teach the first 3 weeks. So really, it would be best to have someone like decided and on board by Valentine's Day would be good. 14th of February, my son's birthday. And then I guess, how would that work? Because I'm not starting till April in my new job. Well, I could work it out. I suppose they could maybe start the last week of February and shadow me for the first 2 weeks. Well, we'd make it happen. It's not going to be rocket science, but I would like to provide for the students and parents roughly a month for them to get to know the new person, and for me to onboard them and make sure they're secure. They feel like they know what to do with the classes. I just can't keep doing it. It's fun and all, but I've been teaching English now for, this next February will be 13 years, and literally nothing's changed. It's not like the industry revolutionizes itself every year and you're making hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's the opposite. You get to a certain point and it's like you're making a living, you got students, but it's really time to move on. But one thing I'm happy about is that this is something even my new boss told me, is that I've cultivated a lot of skills that are transferable. I'm able to talk to people and understand their situation and provide feedback that's helpful for where they are, instead of just unloading a bunch of information on them or getting frustrated, which happens a lot with ESL teachers. They just don't know what they're doing. It takes a while to get good at it, but then once you are, it's kind of like that's it. You're good at it now. And, if that's what you love, it's one thing. But like I say, I came over here kind of on a whim. I wasn't thinking at all. I just wanted to stay with the girl I had in my life, and I signed up for marriage in rural Japan, like a multi-decade commitment, kids, and so English teaching was just I'll do this for a job, and that was that. So With software, it's somewhat similar, I suppose. It's like it's the best, most realistic, high-paying option for my situation. But it offers more. There's more creativity. There's more potential. So sometimes you gotta look at where you are in life and make a decision. Like if this is, ultimately better, then you should do that. You shouldn't be doing something that's not as good indefinitely just because you're comfortable. That's a pitfall in my opinion. But I'm probably too old to just like go home and start a music career or go to medical school or something. So windows and doors, they do close as time passes, and that's another brutal reality that a lot of people, especially expats, over here in Japan, it seems especially. I've never lived anywhere else as a foreigner, but I know in Japan, the bubble is real, and you can really paint yourself into a corner. Definitely by the time you're in your 40s, early to mid 40s, it's like it gets really hard to change. So, and I'm not too far away from that. I'm going to be 40 at the end of next year. I'll be 39 next month, and then a year later, turn 40. And I remember my first boss over here. Interesting guy. He came over in the mid 80s, so he was really young. I think he was fresh out of university actually. He just went to Japan and never came home again. Just teaching and surfing and having fun, and then he came down here to Tokushima from Tokyo and started his own school, and just kept doing that. And so when I started working for him, he was 45 and had been doing the same job more or less at that point. He'd been running the school for 13 years, and he kind of went through this midlife crisis where the revenue at the school just dropped. There was some renovations and new developments in the city, and so people just stopped coming to this area. And he realized that he made that classic mistake of like, I'm comfortable, life is easy, I'm gonna have fun, and then it caught up with him like within the space of a year, and he got really panicked and had to borrow a lot of money. Actually, his mother gave him a lot of money, and he had to go relocate. And I was there watching all this, and he was 45, and he couldn't do anything else. He didn't have any skills to go do anything else. No one would hire him. No one would probably even talk to him, So that scared the crap out of me at that time. I was like 27, 26. And I did something similar. If I kept doing this for, I'm 38 now, another 7 years, I could be in the exact same situation where it's like, oh crap, what do I do? So I don't want to do that. Coming over to Japan has been a really big wake-up call in terms of teaching me the lesson that your actions can have very big and sometimes painful consequences that you may not be able to get out of in the space of your natural lifetime. To put it simply, you move to a different country and you spend 10 years there, you'll be lucky if you have anything left where you came from, except for your family and maybe a few close friends. And then, you start making even bigger changes and, like having children, then it's like, dude, you're locked in, and you better have a plan for what you're going to do, because it's not going to get any easier, And so it's better, I think, to suffer a little bit, work a little harder, sacrifice a little more time building something for your future than it is to just kind of hide and take it easy and have it all land on you like a ton of bricks when it's too late. So that's been my thinking. I think things will be okay. This new job, it won't be like the ultimate lifestyle, the salary starting out. I guess I'll be making roughly what I'm making now because I won't have as many expenses. Probably a little bit less because I won't be doing as many university classes, if any. But it is definitely a pathway into a much more prosperous career. The kids walking by. I'm gonna miss this. I'm gonna miss the kids, man. That's been really cool. I'm really lucky for that. So, I'm sure they'll miss me too. But they're resilient. I've seen so many kids come and go over the years. What was I talking about? So yeah, I mean, I'm not going to be like a millionaire, but I'll be making a living wage, and no rent here, no parking lot rent, no electric or water here. What else do I pay for? Tax accountant. I guess I'll probably go with him one more time next year. But it'll give me I'll be able to invest my working day in developing and building a skill set and a network, social network, and a portfolio that could, get me a job where I'd be making, I don't know, 2, maybe 3 times. Probably realistically 2 to 3 times what I'm making now, and the ability to work from home. So that's probably, I don't know. I think it could happen within 3 years, 1 to 3 years. From this April, once I'm full time, around the clock coder guy. And that's what it's gonna take, and I don't know. I feel like crap. I spent all this time and energy and money building up this school, and now I'm realizing like maybe it's not the right thing to be in, So now I'm gonna spend a whole bunch more time and energy and not so much money building up another skill set, and I feel like that is the thing to be into. So it's how life goes, right? You just don't know. So sometimes I'm reminded, like when my school flooded just about 4 years ago. It's just another rainy day, and I always make a big deal of typhoons in Japan. Like, oh, it's a big one. The typhoon's coming, and it's almost never more than just a really windy, rainy day or night, and that's it. You go outside, and there's some debris in the street, and the river's running a little high, and that's about it. But that one time, I couldn't believe it. Like, the water was so high, and it flooded my school, and I thought, literally, if the water had just been another centimeter or 2, it would have completely destroyed my school. At least the carpeting and stuff, and like it's just the margins in life can be so slim, and I don't like that feeling. I don't like feeling that vulnerable and exposed and at risk. I think it's better to be part of something that's a little more stable. So anything could happen here. A rumor could start. I could lose all my students. There's just so many. I don't know. I'm kind of just spitballing and jabbering, and I'm kind of wasted too. I did 2 code reviews today and fielded some other software question stuff. So I'm gonna stop there. But I just wanted to kind of reminisce. I know the people who watch this channel, they've seen. You guys have been really supportive, as small and humble of a channel as it is. So I wanted to share that. All right. May not even be any sound.